Hello everybody, John here, and today onto the garage we're putting a vice on my SGS toolbox. I get a lot of comments about my SGS toolbox, usually complimentary or from other people who have got the toolbox. The occasional one that says it's not the highest end and, you know, why hasn't it got soft closed drawers and all the rest of it? Because it's a value toolbox. This is not an advert. I am not sponsored by SGS or the many other names by which I've come to learn this is sold throughout the world. I just think it's a really good quality thing in terms of strength, the way it looks, the size and number of drawers you get for the money. It's as simple as that. But I'm often asked, is it sturdy enough to mount a vice on? Because you haven't got one, John. And the answer is a resounding yes. This is a solid wooden top. The whole thing is made of stainless, although magnetic stainless, and it's got really big metal casters on. So the reason I don't have a vice or haven't had a vice on it is I've got a shed where I store stuff and it's just been convenient to have this big old vice in there. But I've got a few jobs that I need to do in the garage where this is going to be handy. So I'm going to mount my vice on the SGS toolbox and show you. So first thing is we need to get the drawer out above where I want to fit the vice, and for me it's going on this end. If you don't yet know how, you remove your drawers by sliding the drawer all the way out, and then you're going to find a black lever poking forward from the end of the runner. And if this black lever is on the left hand side of your drawer, lift it. There's another one on the right hand side of the drawer, and you do the opposite and you press it down. And with those both worked, what you will find is you can pull the drawer all the way off its runners. This in turn answers the question, are the drawers on runners? Are the drawers on roller bearings? Yes, there they are. No, they're not the slickest runners you can get, but they are strong. Now when I reach inside, I'm able to touch the wood on the underside of the cabinet. I'm going to take another drawer out just for ease. Down on one side, up on the other, because they are just mirror images. And off she comes. And from this angle, you're able to see the top is solid and is just held down by some screws around the edges, and that indeed the whole construction of this is stainless. There's nothing else inside there. So with that sorted, I'm just going to put a bit of rag inside this drawer to stop all the sawdust going in. Next we want to decide where the vice is going to be bolted down. First thing is, this is all mechanism. So there's no point whatsoever in the vice going down anywhere this side, because you won't be able to get at the nuts underneath. Equally, I want the bolts and nut heads to sit behind the surface, i.e. inside the drawer upstairs. So that gives me a position there. Bit more chalk. So I want to be behind that line and to the left that line with my bolt holes. Then get your vice of choice and position her on your work surface. Now there's a couple of tricks that if you're an engineer you'll know, and if you're not you may not just have thought about. They're not clever. When it comes to positioning a voice on a bench, it's a really good idea to make sure that the back surface of the rearmost jaw, so if I just use this long screwdriver to demonstrate, is clear of the front of the bench. This is because now and again you're going to want to clamp things that are taller than the vice and going to go down the front of the bench. And if you position this a little bit too far back, that will hit the front of the bench and you can't do it. So give yourself a centimetre there. Next is to make sure that the vice handle is free to swing, and obviously in this situation there is no issue whatsoever. Also, you're going to want to be able to saw long things, and long things may be positioned in your vice like that. So if you're too close to a wall or anything over here or over here, it's a bad idea. With mine, I'm going to put the vice on this end of the bench, so I know I've got the full length of the bench for material to stick out that way. If you are dedicating this vice to doing sawing and sawing off lengths of material, you might want to make sure that this jaw is flush with the end of the bench, which would give us a few issues with what I've described here, but that might be an important thing because you're going to keep chopping through and it's just going to give you lots of clearance. For us, not really an issue. And lastly, my vice has a small anvil on it. An anvil is just a solid metal plate that's good for hammering, centre punching, etc. And it's here. And it's a really good idea to put this above a wheel or a leg because things will bounce less. And this is all ideal on my setup. So that's all in position. I'm checking it to look parallel. Just looking down from above, make sure the jaws run in line with the front of the bench. And then with a Sharpie or other markers are available, just mark through to give us our hole centres. And then we can move that out of the way. Next, find yourself some bolts that fit the holes in your vice and an appropriate drill of a similar diameter. This is the right drill for the job I'm going to do, but big drills wander. So, just going to use a smaller drill and slightly blunt drill, if I'm honest, to put a pilot hole through the wood. Just sweep that into my bin. Purely for interest, this drill is bigger than the chuck, but the tail end that you hold on is reduced in diameter, and they're called blacksmith's drills. It's just one of those just interesting things, interesting to me anyway. One of the reasons drills have a particular chuck size is they know they're going to struggle with the torque to drill anything bigger. As witnessed here, we're using a blacksmith's drill, bigger than the chuck, in a cordless drill. There we go. And then roll our vice into position. Let's try a bolt for size. Yep, that's going to fit just lovely. Be sure to fit nice large washers to the underside. Oops, so that you know that the nut is not going to wind its way into the wood. And I'm using nylock nuts so that they don't shake loose with the inevitable banging and vibration that vices are subject to. Now I said vices out loud, it feels like the wrong plural, vici. It isn't, it just sounds it. In terms of how tight should you do up these bolts, there isn't a correct torque and you are pulling onto wood, so tighten it until it feels right. You can always pinch it up a little bit more. So I'm putting about, I would guess, half my body weight on that. It's an imperial size, odd bolts. Just for your interest, I'm using 12mm bolts, as in diameter of the thread. Just to give you an indication, it's quite a large, sturdy bolt. And we're on. So just get the rags out of the way. Refit the drawers. It's just a case of drawing out the runner, lining it up on both sides, pull the drawer runner towards you, like so, and then in turn just push the drawer in until it clicks and you know it's not going to fall back out. Done. One. There we go. And there's my vice. The sticker has long since been damaged and mainly fell off on the front of my vice. It is an old record, which is a popular, not particularly high-end, but nice brand of vice. So just finish the task off by getting rid of the remnants of the badge. Let's put something a bit more interesting on the front than plain hammerite. There. It's amazing. There we go. I'll probably tidy the vise up, paint it and make it look pretty another day. But for today, that's great, as I need to use it anyway. So, in answer to the somewhat repeating question of, is the bench sturdy enough to fit a vise to? Yes, it is. There it is. I'm happy to fit one to mine. And that is how I would go about fitting a vise to a bench. Well, I've got everybody. It's the 1st of July today. So time to say bye to Kip and Lana Misek's beautiful carnival red, The Little Car, and move on to a new page on our calendar. And the deadline for calendar entries passed last night for the 2021 photo competition for the 2022 calendar. So I wonder who's going to be on next year's. But for July, we have the pleasure of seeing Doug Warren's 2005 XK8 convertible, and his circuit is at Ramsjou, France. And that is a beautiful car and a beautiful colour. Somebody will correct me, but is that sea spray, sea mist? Can't remember what it's called now. Let's see who else we've got on our page. First of all, there's Gary Mees, much better known to most of you as Jagvet1. He's a subscriber to the channel, constant contributor, and has an excellent channel himself. If you're into older Jags, certainly go and see Gary, as well as XK8s. We've also got Graham Brown. We've got Horst Henrique. We've got Ian Moyle. We've got, oh, it's a bit dark in this image, sorry, Jeff and Victoria Girard. And we've got John Powell. So they're going to be on my wall for the whole of July. Nice picture. If you're enjoying our channel, then don't forget to subscribe and click the little bell icon so you get notifications of new videos. And please give us a thumbs up or thumbs down, and you can share the videos. And below the video is always the area where you can comment and get involved with the chat.